Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be show you how to make southern style biscuits and gravy. This is a staple southern breakfast. It's super delicious and pretty easy to make. For the biscuits, I'm gonna start by grating 1 stick of butter. You can cut it up fine if you want, or use a pastry cutter to cut it in. I just find that using it in my food processor makes it go super quick and gets it the right consistency the fastest. And then I'm gonna put 2 cups of flour into a bowl, and this is how I measure my flour out. It's just how I was taught growing up. You spoon the flour in and then knock the flour down with a flat surface. I'm using a butter knife and then scrape it until it's even. And this is the same way you measure out flour for like baking bread or a cake or whatever it may be. But you're just gonna do 2 cups of flour. And then I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of baking powder and then a little under a cup of buttermilk. I like to keep this in my refrigerator because we don't use buttermilk all that often, but you just add this powder to water and it turns it into buttermilk, and it tastes exactly the same. You cannot tell a difference. It just keeps a lot longer, and you always have buttermilk ready whenever you need some and don't have any on hand. But you just follow directions. It was 4 teaspoons per cup of water, and then I'm just gonna mix that up and pour it in. The milk can kind of vary because sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less, depending on your environment or whatever it may be. So you just kind of have to pour in the milk until you get to the right consistency. This batch ended up using a little over 3/4 of a cup, but not quite a cup. I do worry over every situation. I'm going to go ahead and dump the butter in before I mix the milk in, just to kind of work that through the dry ingredients. And you do want to mix your dry ingredients up before you add your milk. You can use regular milk. I just like the way buttermilk tastes, and it's just my favorite. But like I said, you're just mixing all the dry ingredients together, and then I'm going to add that butter in, and then I'm going to pour the milk in and mix everything together until it's a shaggy dough. I put some melted butter in the bottom of my cast iron skillet, and then I'm just going to start rolling my biscuits up and putting them in. I should have used a little bit smaller of a cast iron skillet, but it's okay. You can use a baking sheet if you want. You can use like a pie tin or whatever. I've just always made them in cast iron just because that's how I was taught growing up. But I'm just rolling them out here. These are called drop biscuits because they're not rolled out or anything. These are just super easy to make and get in the oven so you can start working on your gravy. Once you have all your biscuits laid out, you're going to put them in a preheated to 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. And then I'm going to get started on the gravy. This is just a pound of ground sausage. I really prefer the Jimmy Dean sausage, but my grocery store was out, so I got this Tennessee Pride, and it is okay. But I really do prefer the Jimmy Dean. And you're just going to crush up your sausage and cook it like you would any ground meat. I keep on making the same mistake. When I begin to get myself together again, you are back once more like everything's the same. I tried to build my walls up, but you're taking them down. It's tearing me apart, I can't pretend. Now I have to get over you again. Said it was the last time, but you keep coming back to show me. Sorry you have changed now, but it's the same old story. Our love just went cold, but I'm still burning. Our love just went cold. Why? I keep on making I did speed this up and cut some of it out, but I left it kind of long just to show you how long to cook your sausage. You want it to get these like brown crusty bits. That's where all your flavor is gonna be. And once your sausage is cooked to hell and back, you're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of flour, just right on in. If you don't have enough fat from the gravy, you can add some like bacon grease or butter, but usually there's enough grease in there from cooking down the sausage. But like I said, you just add your flour right on in and then stir it constantly. You don't want your flour to burn, but you do want the flour taste to cook out. After about 3 to 5 minutes, you're gonna start adding in your milk a little at a time. I like to do around a cup at a time, just until it starts to thicken, and then I'll add more. And I usually end up adding about 3 to 4 cups of milk total. It all just depends on the day and the batch. I mean, generally a tablespoon of flour per cup of milk is a standard rule, but sometimes it doesn't take that much. And I just like to season mine with salt and pepper. Some people add more seasonings like onion powder and garlic powder, but I really like the simple flavor of salt and pepper. But as you're adding in your milk, you want to make sure you're constantly stirring your gravy, because if it sits for too long, it can burn, and you definitely do not want that because that flavor is horrid. So just make sure you're constantly stirring and moving your milk around as you're adding it in a little by little. How thick you want your gravy to be is all going to be a personal preference. I personally like a little bit thicker gravy. My husband likes it a little thinner. So I usually try to go somewhere in the middle where it holds its shape as I move a spoon through, but doesn't take too long to go back. And these are the biscuits right out of the oven. They turn out delicious every single time. And about the time your biscuits are done, your gravy should be done as well. And so you're just going to put your biscuit on a plate and ladle over some gravy, and you will have the best Southern breakfast you could ever have, in my opinion. Can things ever be the same? All I do is see things slipping through my fingers when he turns and walks away. And that's going to be it for this video. I really appreciate you watching, especially if you've made it this far. Y'all mean more to me than you could ever know. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, bye. All the things I wanna say.